Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Hands-on Connect University. I'm really excited. Today we're going to be presenting on the Salesforce One mobile app. We're going to be focusing on the navigation and page layout functionality. So my name is Art Ordoki and I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys some of the new features that I've recently learned of how to leverage the mobile app for Salesforce to kind of help manage things with Hands-on Connect. So without further ado, we're going to jump in to our Salesforce org. So here we are in Salesforce, and where we want to first go to is the setup. So this is one thing that I found when I was originally starting out that needed to be done that really kind of made the wizard a lot easier to use. So I'm going to type in here mobile, and it's going to take me to the mobile administration section here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to choose the Salesforce One navigation. So I'm going to click there. And what this does is this tells us the items that are going to show up in our mobile app navigation. And I'll be showing you the mobile app momentarily as well, so we'll be able to kind of see some side-by-side comparisons here. So the one thing that I found out when looking through and trying to configure my Salesforce app is I was really looking for those standard objects like organizations, contacts, as well as those custom objects such as volunteer opportunities, connections, and occurrences that are part of Hands-on Connect. And I wasn't finding those in the navigation. I wasn't finding a way to move them around and such. And the reason is because they are embedded in this smart search items. So all these other items, chatter today, those are kind of standard part of the navigation, but everything else rolls up under this smart search items functionality. So you want to make sure that those are selected and that's available for your Salesforce One mobile navigation. It took me a little while to kind of figure that out, but I was able to get through the documentation and learn that. The next thing, chatter, of course, is your chatter feed if you're using that for your company. Today, that's a special Salesforce One mobile feature. It kind of just gives you a highlight of what's happening today, especially if you're using the calendar features, task features, and events and things like that within Salesforce. Definitely a very handy tool. Dashboards and reports, those are your dashboards and the reports that you've created. This I've found have been really helpful to have in that Salesforce One mobile app. I've been often at meetings or at conferences where someone's asking me for statistics or information, and being able to quickly pull those reports right there on my mobile device definitely makes it easy to manage and provide that information. And then tasks, of course, if you're using the Salesforce tasks to remind you of things to follow up on or things that you need to be doing while at those site visits, those are really helpful information in there. So you can, of course, take this and kind of move them around as you wish on how you want to present. Some of these that I've chosen not to make available, people is Salesforce speak for the users in your system. So if you need to be looking at managing your user accounts, not something that oftentimes is necessary for Hands-on Connect customers. Groups, again, that's has to do with kind of users and sharing of records, not something that's heavily used within the Hands-on Connect product. Same thing with the events and approvals. Approvals is really more kind of like a sales related task. And then flow interviews, those are items that are built that you can build into Salesforce to kind of, it's one of the things we use for the volunteer opportunity wizard. But again, not something that's very necessary for Hands-on Connect, especially when you're out on the go. So I've elected to keep those items off of my page layout. So as I'm making the screen a little smaller here, I'm going to bring up here. This is actually my live cell phone. I'm able to uh, to click and drag, and you guys can see I'm moving it around. But the items that you're seeing here as selected, as you can see here, we have chatter, today, dashboards, tasks, and reports. Those are the ones that are showing there. If I move them around and save, I can refresh, and you see, there it is. It's already showing the information. Smart search items, those are the recent items that you see here. So that's where you see organizations, volunteer opportunities, contacts, recurrences. People is showing up in there, even though it's not part of the ones I've selected, because I was recently looking for user records in my Salesforce org. And so again, that's why it's called the smart search, because it looks at things that you've recently searched. So you don't really have control as to how they appear in here, but they do appear in your system. So that shows us how to get to the navigation. Again, you click on the navigation is the menu items there in your Salesforce One mobile app. So then the next part that I wanted to walk you through is the Salesforce One Quick Start. So I'm going to click here on the setup menu, and this kind of helps us kind of get started. It does walk us through the navigation we went through, but I wanted to specifically go to the exact item because of that smart search. That was something that tripped me up when I started the wizard, and so I wanted to showcase that so you guys wouldn't be tripped up when you started as well. So now that I'm here in Salesforce One setup, we're going to launch the Quick Start wizard. And this gives us, walks us through kind of setting up the mobile app for our organization. So I'm going to click Let's Get Started. And the first thing it's going to do, it's going to do the custom navigation. And now that smart search items, this was not present as an option for me before. It wasn't available until I made it available in the navigation where I just showed you. So now I can again, move these around if I want to. If I change my mind and I do want to bring people over as something that's pinned to the top, I can do that. If tasks are really important, I can rearrange that really quickly and manage that. The next item is global actions. I'm actually going to skip this. We're going to cover this a little bit deeper in a future webinar on the 27th in 2 weeks. So I am going to skip the global actions right now, just because there's a lot of really fun, exciting things that you can do with that. And then I'm going to jump to the compact layout. So what the compact layout is, and this is something that is related to the page layouts that we were working on in the previous Connect University. And what this allows you to do is kind of manage what information is shown up here at the top of your Salesforce One Mobile. So we see here, Moderna Bistro, 1.1 million. These fields, the name and those 3 fields underneath, that is what is defined by the compact layout. The details information below is what's showing within the, based on the page layout that I have for that record itself. So it'll still show every field that's available, but what the compact layout does is it gives me that quick information that I need just right there up at the top. So we're going to go ahead and create our compact layout. And the first thing it does is it takes us to the compact layout for contact records. It's obviously a very important record, especially when we're out on the road. We want to be able to capture and quickly, easily access the individuals. So you see here that I'm able to label the contact. If I wanted to create different types, I could do that. But for right now, I'm just going to call this contacts layout, and it's going to be the one layout we use for our entire organization. So you see on the left-hand side, all the available fields. Now these are all the fields available in your Salesforce environment, both from Hands-on Connect, as well as any custom fields you've created or those from other applications you may have installed in your Salesforce environment associated with the Nonprofit Success Pack or other applications. On the right is the compact layout. Now you may be asking yourself, well, Art, if there's only going to be showing 4 fields, why do you have so many showing there? And that's a very good question. The reason is that the compact layout, in addition to the mobile app, has some functionality with Lightning, and that's something that we're going to be discussing later on as we explore converting Hands-on Connect to the Lightning interface. And so this one layout is going to be able to manage multiple things, and in the Lightning you're able to see a few more fields, and so that's why you're able to show the additional ones. So for example, in this case, I felt that the name, obviously contact name, you want to make sure that the name or the organization name, whatever the name of the record is always going to be that top field. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at a record and you have no idea whose it is if you just start with phone number. And then you can find out what information is most important. So for me, I looked at it and I said, you know what? I want to know what organization they're with. I want to know what their primary phone number is. It doesn't matter to me if it's the business or the home or the mobile, whatever they've identified as their primary phone, that's the information I want. And then maybe the email is important because I want to be able to email them right there from the phone. Or maybe you want to see kind of how recent they signed up for our project. You know, you're wanting to kind of see like how engaged is this volunteer, how informed are they. So you want to maybe move most recent connection date to the top. So however you want, if there's other fields, maybe you want to know what their birth date is, because if it's you know, coming up on their birthday, you want to be able to make sure you wish them a happy birthday. Whatever fields you'd like to use, you can bring them over. It's really easy to do that. We'll go ahead and bring the birth date over here, make that the number 4 field. And then I'm going to hit save. And now I am reviewing my app. So now I've made the changes. I can see the dashboards. I can go look at contacts and see the changes that I've made. So I'm going to click here on contacts, and I'm going to click on a volunteer. And you can see that at the very top of the record there for Abby, it shows individual is the organization that she's with. All my notifications are coming through. There we go. We can see the primary phone number, very good phone number there for Abby, and the date of birth. So it's information that's available. But then as I scroll down, I can still see all the information associated with Abby in the full page layout. So as we discussed in the previous Connect Universities, these page layouts are very important, not just for the desktop, but you want to make sure that the information that's most relevant is at the top, because that's also what's going to impact your mobile app and what information you see there. So I'm going to click next. This final step here allows you to kind of send this out to users. So maybe you don't want to roll it out. Maybe you don't want all your members of your team using it yet. You want to get some feedback on kind of what the experience is like. You can use this to send email to your users within your organization, encouraging them to download the app, or if they don't want to download the mobile app, they can actually access this just by going to a mobile browser and logging into Salesforce that way as well. And it allows them to kind of play around with that functionality. So once you've gone through that kind of quick setup, you know, you're ready to go with the mobile app, but there may be some additional items that you want to change. So we saw that we updated the contact layout, but maybe you got some feedback and you need to make some other changes to the layout. You can go back to that. If you search for compact layout, I can go here to contact records and click compact layouts. And again, I'm seeing that contact layout that I just created. If I want to, I can make a change. You know what? Birth date isn't as important as I thought it would be. I want to hit save. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And now we see Abby's most recent connection date instead. So we see that she, volunteered with us last August. And all these changes, as you can see, are real time. As you're making these changes, they push out directly to the site. Now, there's another step. If your items have different record types. So for example, within accounts, we have different record types for business accounts versus nonprofit accounts. And as a result for that, we may want to have different records associated with it. So I'm going to create a new compact layout, and I'm going to call it the business layout. And for the businesses, I want the name. I want to know the primary contact, and I want to know the organization's phone number, and I want to look at the primary street address because I'm out on the road. I want to be able to make sure I can get to them quickly. So I'm going to hit save. And at this point, I'm now going to assign the layout. So I want to click Compact Layout Assignment. And as you can see here, we have different record types. Right now, all the record types are using one of the Connect University layouts that I created previously. But I want to change that. So I'm going to click Edit Assignment. I'm going to highlight Business. And now I'm going to choose the business layout. And I'm going to save that. And what this does is it allows me to choose different layouts and different fields at the top of the records based on the type of record it is. So if I'm looking at a nonprofit organization, I'm going to get one layout. If I'm looking at a business record type, I'm going to get the business layout. So it does give you that flexibility to be able to leverage different fields and such for different page layouts. Now, we've talked about contacts and accounts. Those are both standard Salesforce objects. You may be wondering, well, how do I manage the custom objects that are part of Hands-on Connect, such as volunteer opportunities? The same functionality exists there. So if I go to Objects in my Setup menu, and I go down and select Volunteer Opportunities, we can see that the regular page layouts are there, and we've worked with those before in the previous sessions. But now I can go over here to Compact Layout, and I can see that there are some options available there. So I have my default, and I can click here. Nope, that's not what I want. I want to create a new volunteer opportunity layout. And so what do we want? Again, you want to make sure that the name is always the first field, because otherwise it's the information is not going to be relevant for you. So things that we may want to see, right? We may want to see the posting status. We may want to look at when is the end date of this opportunity. How long is it going for? We may want to look at is this a date and time specific, or is this a individually scheduled? So that would fall under the schedule type. So these are the four things that I've deemed that I want to know about this information. You may want some other information like default opportunity coordinator instead of the end date. Whatever you'd like, any of the fields that are available as part of the object are able to be moved over for your compact layout. So now I'm going to hit save. Again, I'm going to look at the compact layout assignment. Make sure, in this case, I don't have record types for volunteer opportunities, but it's always good just to kind of make sure that we swap it from the system default to the one that we created. And we hit save. And now, when I go back over to my mobile app here, I can click on volunteer opportunities. Again, all my views from the system are at the top there, so I can, if I wanted to look at date and time specific projects, I can see the quick information. But I want to see after school tutors. That's the project I want to really look at. And after I refreshed, I could see that the posting status is there. This project is approved. It goes through December 20th, and it's a date and time specific project. So the information that I wanted is right there at the top. It's very easy for me to get to. And if I need to, I can still scroll down and see that it is a sign up opportunity. I could see who the managing organization is and all that other information related to that project. So that gives you a brief overview on how to set up the navigation for your mobile app for the Salesforce One Mobile, and how to create those compact layouts so that you can get the most relevant information right there up at the top of the field. Again, think back to our page layout session that we had done earlier. You can see the recording on the handsonconnect.org website, and look at how the page layouts, these compact layouts, how all of this kind of works together to give yourself and your fellow coworkers the information that they need, whether they're there at the office working on their desktop or laptop, or if they're out on the go and doing site visits and need access to the information. You want to make sure that you're giving them the best information possible. Don't forget to join us for our next mobile app presentation. It's going to be on the 27th. We're going to talk about the global actions, which are the items down here at the bottom where you see edit and change owners on those screens. Next week for our Connect University, Libby will be back and doing advanced reporting. Next Tuesday during our Connect Exchange, again at 12:30 Eastern, Melissa and I will be presenting other great things that we've learned at Dreamforce this year. And so we hope that you'll join us for those, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.